All right, today we're going to learn how to paint the extremely infamous mass murderer Jim Jones.
How very much I've loved you. How very much I've tried my best to give you the good life. But in spite of all of that I've tried, a handful of our people, with their lies, have made our life impossible.
Let's run through the colors. Interference blue, carbon black, titanium white, ultramarine blue, burnt sienna, phthalo green, cad yellow, pearly red, quin red, primary yellow. Let's get the party started. All right, let's get to the canvas. So we got this canvas here. All right, we'll move on to the next stage. We'll get the paper. Nice coupon discount. So we have Brazil, the rainbow flag, symbolic of the rainbow family, and Marxism. So this is the symbol of child abuse, a belt and a child. We have the Black Power symbol and two of the church symbols for the church. We have Kool-Aid, the symbol of cyanide, and what else do we have? And the symbol of black and white unity. So we have Indy 500 and the skull with pills. This is the faith paper, so this should be really cool. These are all the leaders connected to Jim Jones. He's connected somehow. This is my paintings related to it. So I have the Matrix painting with the red pill for his abuse, and also the peace symbol, the yin and yang. Got some obey paper, and some kind of saying there. Can't read it upside down. This is the FBI Red Scare nuclear blast painting. This is the Fighting Irish, symbolic of his heritage of Jim Jones. Red Devil, symbol of the high school he went to, which my brother went to. And Reed Hospital, where he met his wife, which also my sister-in-law went to as a nurse. Here you have IU, he went to IU, and also San Francisco, where he founded the, he moved to church capital basically before he went to Guana. Here you have the media paper, so I have the Times, skulls, and the symbol of one of these religions that's Unitarian, or kind of all religions combined. Finally, we have Jim Jones himself. This is a small version. So let's get the next stage. All right, let's cut the paper. All right, let's move on to the next stage.
All right. Stick them on paper. You're really big, but it's gonna be okay.
You gotta love this awful 70s coat power coat trench with the style is just crazy back then. He had this weird kind of Elvis look to him. He's a little bit big, but I think it'll be okay because he's a larger than life figure that kind of, you know, America's most notorious mass murderer. Let's get started.
You unlearn. the ocean don't bend. Now the water's getting in.
To say, to thank you. Just look at that over here.
Sherwin Harris was attempting to visit his daughter Leanne, who was living.
Salt water. I'm slowly sinking. Salt water. Trying to unlearn.
think we finished the drawing. Let's see, take a closer look. So we got Jim Jones, guys. Hopefully I don't get canceled online. All the socials are gonna come for me. All right, the next stage is to line up this to see where we want to mark it out. So let's see, the eye is right at 8 and 24. So we're gonna do some golden ratio proportion calculations here. So we got the golden ratio. I don't know if you guys know it. Hopefully you guys see it. 24 times 0.618. So 14.8 would be ideal. Let's see, this is... So yeah, the eye falls right at the golden ratio right there. Let's see about here, 36. So we'll do this, 36 times 0.618, 22.2. So here, so really here, which is the edge of the glasses, which isn't bad. Go this way. 22 is the start of his hairline. So that's pretty good actually. Let's mark it there. We want it straighter. Let's do it a little straighter there. Just to make it easy to set up again. It's moving a little bit. Let me just tape it back. Tape makes it straight. So I'm just gonna tape temporarily so it's just, I get all my marks set up correctly. So just temporarily tape this down. I'm gonna have to do a lot of work here to get those squares kind of done, which is annoying, but whatever. So again, let's see if that's straight. Yep. Here too. All right, great. So now that's marked out, it'll be easier when we remove and then put it back on. I have that all lined up. So the next stage is the paper stage. All right, the next stage is add the paper. we're done with this stage. We're gonna trim that off, gloss it again, and then we'll move on to the paper stage, so that's all you'll see for this. All right, we're on to the next stage. We're gonna trace out the figure. Okay, that looks right how we wanted it. All right, the next stage is to do a color study to figure out which colors we want for the face. All right, so we're doing color study. We're starting with the pink face. I've used 3 shades of his face, so hopefully one of those looks makes sense. An almost black, because it will be black, so I'll just kind of assume this is mostly black. That is what it is for his hair. I could do some crazy like blue black, but then it's kind of like you're making him Elvis when he's really a psychopath. So I think you want to tone down the glorification part, so let's see. Let's try a light brown background maybe. Let's see how that looks. I'll do it here across different color ranges. And then maybe a brown after that. So that's one option. Try maybe a green option. Let's see here. Green. I don't know if I like this particular green. Finish with a dark. That's okay with greens. The brown kind of blends in, but it looks kind of a nicer natural background. I'm gonna start with a really light. Close to pure blue. Almost purple there. The green kind of makes sense because it's off. You know, like why is it green in the background? Here. And the red makes this pop a lot more. The green kind of makes sense. Let's try maybe a red suit. It's a little bold, but let's try a red tie. Let's try a red tie over here and a red tie over there. Let's try maybe a white tie here, white tie there, white tie there. Brown tie. Try a tan suit here. Tan suit here maybe. Tan suit there. Let's see blue. Green suit? I don't know. Green one seems so garish. Let's try a green tie here maybe. Blue suit looks like. Blue looks pretty bold. This is a nice combination here too. I like these darker colors for the suit. The red suit. Who the hell has a red suit though, right? That would be insane. The red looks good. This is the same red suit. Let's see if it looks good over here. Green just looks cornball. It's like brown with everything matching. This is nice. Let's try purple in there. Purple suit. The dark suit looks the best, I think. Let's see here. I just don't know if it's a believable color. It's supposed to be browns, I think, maybe. Like this color with the checkerboard on it. With the white shirt. I just don't know if he had a white shirt or what. Very light blue. Let's see what that looks like. Very light blue. 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 Pink shirt. tie sticking out. I think the tie has to be close like this. This doesn't make sense. Tie this in. That looks better. It's gonna start to drip. This looks really good. Kind of Christmassy though, but the color is right. I think this is just could be a tan suit. You could use this instead. Yeah, it's not that light, I don't think. But I do like this. This is looking really good. The red is also very symbolic of his craziness. So this is white inside. And then blue. Blue doesn't work right. This looks better. Let's do this one. All right, I think we got our match. Which one did you guys choose? All right, the next stage is to do the outside background. So we're gonna tape that in. Hopefully we can see anything here. It looks pretty light. Surprised the head is that way, but yeah, that's how his head really looks. Oh, I can't see this, but still can't see that shit. God damn, dude, how come I can't see nothing, son? I can't figure it out. Let's try this again. Oh, we're way off. That's why it's fucking doesn't make any sense. Jesus Christ, bro. Interesting that it doesn't show up at all. You're like, what the heck's going on? So we're gonna remark this. Hopefully we can get it all down right. Like that. Tricky because you can only cut so much, or you poke a hole through the canvas. So it's a little precarious. That's why I like to do this on wood. It was way easier to do because you could just be hard on it. Now you have to have these delicate touch with the cutting knife. It's way tougher to cut. All right. I think we can start. All right, we're gonna start adding the colors. I'm gonna start off with a nice light yellow. So to give it a kind of that ghastly, ghoulish look on the outside, which is very appropriate for this character. You want to look real, but you don't want to celebrate, so it's kind of a real challenge. How do you show him realistically, but at the same time, not make him into like a celebrity? Which he is a celebrity, but just in an evil sense. So we'll see how this works out. Hopefully we can get the right look. The best one to do this is like horror films. They tend to have this really great color grading to get the really creepiness to it. So hopefully we get some kind of feel there that feels creepy. So move to the big brush. So still lighter green. And definitely kind of that creepier look to come to it. Probably bring in the yellow wherever this goes too much in the green, but
If you could change.
I think that kind of accentuates pretty well. Let's see, this might be too dark. Let's see, hopefully not. This is coming in pretty dark. Hopefully it's not too dark. I have to coat this back a little bit. But you definitely want kind of that evil look, right? You can't make it evil enough for a mass murderer. Alright, so in this case we're going to use almost a pure black here. Probably lose a lot of the stuff in the corners, but bye-bye Che Guevara. All the Che fans are all pissed now, like, dude, you just covered Che Guevara. MLK is like, yeah, but there's Hitler in there too, so. I don't know, probably you want Hitler in your painting. Not really probably the best look. Alright, so let's see if this hopefully blended right. Maybe a little pure green in here to kind of make it a little crazier. So that's a pretty sinister background. Alright, let's take off the tape before that dries. we'll just redo it later, but I want to take it out quick because this tends to stick. And sticky tape is your enemy against paper, so it'll tear the paper eventually if you leave it on there too long. Even though it's blue tape, which is the best. You can get, I mean, probably Post-it tape is good too because it's very see, this is already kind of pulling at that paper a little bit, so. Even though we only had it on a very short time, it's really pressing the limit. See, it pulled off the paper a little bit there? Just a little bit. Still looking good. Uh-oh. Just tore the FBI a little bit. Uh-oh, oh, no, and go back the other way. See, sometimes you can recover it that way. So we'll let that dry and then move on to the next color. All right, on the next layer, we're gonna do the coat jacket. So we wanna kinda do that in. We wanna preserve the tie and neck, obviously, and the shirt. So hopefully we do that 3 different colors, so we'll see how that works out. See a little bit here, just this, I think. I'm gonna have to overlay this to make sure this is right. This doesn't seem right. Get out now! Franco Brothers.
I fall apart
Yeah, brother.
where the ocean
Yeah, that's way off.
bend. Now the water is getting in.
Have a little bit of overlap.
I'll slip
Let's go this side.
I'll slowly.
So we'll just paint this and then we'll do the tie. I think probably the same color. With the big brush. So I think the jacket was white maybe with checkerboard, but since he's a mass murderer, I think blood red is way more appropriate. And it totally marks it off as there's something off about this character. So in the future, if someone meets this, they'll be like, what? Why is this guy wearing a red jacket? You're like, oh. So you know right off the bat, this isn't a happy person to associate with. Put a little bit more color down just to kind of add that in there. So that's that. And a lot of color here. I'm just kind of highlighting this so you know the edges are what the edges are. It'll make it very nice when it comes dry with those nice thick edges. Alright, so that's that color. He does have a lighter tan color tie, so let's do that. Just a little lighter than this. A little bit lighter, my friend. I think it's okay. Well, let's figure out the tie area. Let's see. Tie here, I think. That's where it starts. Have to overlay that a little bit. Hopefully we don't get too much shit on the bottom of this. Tie is really far down, actually. So the tie isn't up there, that's the neckline, I think. A little strange, I think it's actually here, maybe. Cut this off, see if that makes sense. That'll be higher, but maybe his neckline comes down lower. Let's see. This makes sense now. It's a little faster than drawing it, but probably drawing it be easier. Let's put it down again. And this should be wider, I think, here.
Do you want a new?
Yeah, let's leave that, I think, like that. Might be a little off on this tie, but I'm gonna roll with that. Take that off before it dries.
For a bit, am I?
So we get to tie that area we can't touch. We can do his hair now.
If you could change at all.
Let's leave it like that. And I'll tape this at the top so it keeps correct here.
I was sick.
Yeah, it's interesting how it goes. Fucking thing, tape is moving on its own. I was like, what the heck, dude? Trying to paint here.
Ribs torn by worry.
Now it's stuck in the fucking goddamn reach high enough.
Is this where the ending?
Hopefully got high enough up. So you cut through the fucking goddamn canvas. Fuck. This is why I fucking don't like using canvas.
What is getting?
There's no bueno.
I'm slowly sinking.
That doesn't make sense here, so this should probably get higher. I already mixed the tape and the fucking tape's already fucking it up. That's that, and what did I need to fix? Now let's do the hair. So very dark hair, so hopefully it's not too dark. It's definitely very coating, we'll see. It's really tricky to figure out what the mix is gloss to this color to make sure it's not too dark, but dark enough. Because he has black hair, so really there shouldn't be any color in the hair, but you have to use some kind of contrast in the hair. I could use gray maybe to show he's older, but
Long turn. My bad, I'm trying to unlearn.
so I'm kind of stripping down some of the color. Make sure it's not too thick on there. Thick enough, but not too thick. God, I hope I didn't poke through the fucking canvas there. And just a little bit. Shit. That is no good. But use a knife on canvas. What do you expect, dude? You get this freaking paper ripping off again. Jesus Christ. I probably needed more gloss on this to avoid that. So next time, oh no, don't do that, motherfucker. It's right in the corner. Alright, we got the hair down. Do the face, this. We'll let this dry because all this touches after that, so doesn't look like we got this much too much. Just to make sure this is good. All right, then we move on to the next layer, which will be the face and the shirt. Hopefully we can do both at the same time. I'll just, do this face and then fill in the shirt. Probably use a slight gray, maybe a beige color, but pink I don't think works. Here we've used kind of gray, so I think I'll use gray, very, very light gray with a touch of color in it maybe. But I have to be careful it doesn't, it should stand out to his face, I think, to make his face really pop. It does have this weird Christmas feel with the red and green. But I mean, it's a goddamn mass murderer. You gotta have like some like horrible colors for it, so. All right, we're on to the next layer. We're gonna do the shirt first. I think probably a little bit of a gray, just to kind of offset these a little bit. I could go pink though too, because this is reddish, and we could go pink. It's drying more pink than, well, I was definitely using the Quinn red. I wanted to use Peroli, but I was kind of out of that color, so I kind of went with Quinn, which looks obviously more Quinnish. We'll see if we can touch that up, but it's kind of a little more pinkish than I want dark red, right? But yeah, I think I'll stick with the gray. White would be kind of too pristine, I think. So let's get to it. Medium brush. Oh, I forgot to tape it in. Let's do that first. I'd be painting all over his chin and shit. Oh my goodness, that would be kind of funny. It's right there, so this should go down like this. Maybe it goes a little lower. No, that's right. This will be across. Yeah. Does it go all the way down here though? Yeah, it's almost down to here, so it's probably down there actually. Okay. That's the tie. His neck has to go almost to the tie, so. Don't know what I'm doing here.
Is this where the end is? Is this where the
Alright, let's see if that makes sense now.
doors fall apart?
So the white makes sense. It has to go a little lower here. This doesn't make sense. So I'm thinking its neck goes here actually. Look at this.
I'm slowly sinking.
Figure it out later why its neck goes that low.
Salt water.
So the tie has to go a little bit up there. Okay. Let's retake that. Got that a little higher. It looks, well, who knows? Who knows? Painting this in here.
For a moment.
So annoying, it does that like damn. Ah, it's tearing my paper, you sons of guns.
My bad, I'm trying to unlearn.
Let's fix the FBI paper. Let's see if I have any of that. Let's see what part we need here. This part. Tear is only. There's a little. Oh, it's got the Red Scare part. That's pretty fixed. That is fixed. Ta-da! Now we can do the face, so we'll get that nice pink color going. I think we can do it at the same time as this and just paint right up to the layer. Alright, let's paint with the pink. This is definitely pretty opaque, which is good. If we get the color just right, we should only have to do the highlights. We'll see how that turns out. I'm not doing the eyes because it's just too much trouble to do that. They just don't turn out well. They don't always line up for some reason. So if I do the whites afterwards, then I don't have that issue. Looking very opaque, but it's kind of yucky, I think. Because you definitely want to have the face kind of turn out. My dry brushes, so like, you don't want to lose too much of the facial details underneath the paper. That's the cool part in a way. Yeah, that neckline feels right. Alright, so let that dry and see where it goes from there. Alright, while that dries, I think we can do another layer of yellow close to this. Alright, we're going to add the yellow to kind of make that pop a little more.
I'm trying to unlearn.
So just extending that just a little bit out here. Very, very light in the farthest reaches, so it doesn't lose any of that really cool darkness. We're going to use a really, really light white around here. That might be too light. That looks way too fucked up. Let's not do that. Let's try this color. Let's see if this works. Alright, so that's that yellow layer. I probably should have done it after that line. It makes it easier to do, so I might have to redo that and try to color match. It's going to be a challenge, but yeah, we'll see. Well, let me blend that a little bit. No, see, I can't blend it now. That is not smart. Alright, we'll leave it. Whatever. Alright, we're on the next stage. We're going to re-outline this since it's kind of uneven now. Definitely I won't do that next time. You definitely want to do this outline last. You know, do this block first, but whatever. Ta-da! Alright, the next is fix the collar. This I don't think looks right at all. It's sad that didn't work out. But we do have some of the paper there, so as long as it's fixed, that's the main thing. Little fine points are going to make all the difference here.
Version of me.
That looks like a shirt. Doesn't have the shadows right, but that's okay. Probably should be shadows under here. Let's do a blacker version. Let's just shade this in a little bit.
Daydreams when nothing's for a bit.
Alright, so that kind of looks like a shadow. A little bit. Probably just have a gray color and call it a day. It's going to be the crease from the tie. There's shadow here, so this is more like this. That's going to be the shadow. There's some paper issues here.
On this chair and pretended.
If I had caught that when I was drawing, I could have just pulled it off, but now it's all stuck in there, so. It's not quite the same brown, but it's close enough, I think. The main thing is just to get this to work. It makes more sense to have this up here. And it reads like a tie, more or less. I don't know why I didn't do this with a brush. This is so silly. The brush looks way better. It's not proportional, but good enough. And now we have to figure out this color in his face. This color. That doesn't look like a skin color. Now we'll use this color. It's not perfect, but.
Sinking in salt water.
Kind of guessing at the eyes, which is a real challenge. Ideally, you don't want to be guessing. What are you gonna do? Sometimes you gotta guess. Assuming it's kind of all shadowed in. It's not perfectly shadowed in like that, but.
Lip gave in and my tongue took a wrong turn.
There's a little bit here to kind of. Hopefully, kind of bring this roundness in.
Even the essence, my intention, your lesson.
Here we're gonna have. Right above the eye, there's a little shadow. This whole thing is shadowed.
Is this where the end is? Is this where the end is?
He's looking pretty unhealthy, right? He looks more like corpse color, but that's probably what he would have looked like if they would have buried him, right?
Where the ocean don't bend. Now the water's getting in. Whoa, I'm slowly sinking. Whoa.
The shadow's this way, so.
I'm slowly dying. So
I just don't like this corner. Let's see if we can fix that. Okay, kind of even it out. I think that looks fine. I'm gonna leave the top. That's fine.
salt water.
So highlights, I think that looks good. Maybe the shading when that fully dries has to really fully dry there.
There's no getting down, there's no getting down.
Just a little bit of the ear. It's not a very good looking ear, but what are you gonna do? It's definitely kind of ugly looking ear, huh? I think it looks like he kind of has an ear, but so he has an ear. I think it's basically right, but it's not exactly right. It's a challenge to paint it after the fact on top, but it is what it is at this point. So I think his eyes have enough shadow. I want to do kind of a highlight here. This is a little lighter, I think. I have a highlight on the eye a little bit. Highlight under the eye. I'm just totally guessing on the eye here a little bit. So. Gotta do what we gotta do. Gotta make up some stuff. I'm tempted to have blood dripping down here, but I think it'd just be overly dramatic. I mean, you got skulls in the background, so I think once you get close, it's pretty obvious. It's not a good guy to be around, but a little subtle, so that's kind of where I want to play it, right between, it might be neutral, but it's not, so hence the red color. I think that really makes it pop. Gives it enough of a, it's a little better color here. Let's just, there we go, fixed it. Alright, gonna let that dry because I need this completely dry, and then we'll do the shade. So, alright, we entered the stage of doing the glasses. It's gonna be a real challenge because if I make it too dark, you're gonna lose all of the eye area, which would be horrible. So hopefully I made the right mix between gloss and black. I just want a little bit of shading there, so hopefully it's gonna look good. So I'm putting it in pretty thick because it looks pretty light, so I'm gonna trust my instincts on this, that it's dark enough, or it's light enough. Just based on what I'm seeing, it looks pretty light, so hopefully that's the case. I definitely want to make sure that it looks, you know, this smoke color, which is a real challenge. I might have to do the top a little darker, but. All right, let's let that dry. Hopefully we get the effect we're looking for. It looks very gray right now, and it really needs to be smoke black, so. But again, that's mixed in with gloss, so once the gloss dries, that whiteness will go away, and it should be a shade of black on top of it, but a very light, opaque black, so we'll see how that dries. Right now it's kind of like, I'm feeling a little bit on edge, but I can still see the eyes and the features, so that's a good sign. That should mean I can do another layer if I need to. We'll see what I do in the next layer. Start a little higher, maybe here. Still not looking exactly like those glasses he wears, but I'm trying to keep the eyes, but to get this to look right, you definitely gotta get this crazy look he had. I'm gonna try this darker layer for this so I can just finish up quick. Alright, so hopefully that'll have that shading that we want. I need to be able to see it visually, so I'm just enhancing this a little bit. It would have been less thicker than this, but just make it stand out a little bit. Gotta have that, I think I have to fix it. Let that dry, see where we go from the next layer for this finish. Alright, let's add some white accents. I'm gonna leave it like this. It's not as dark as probably it should be, but I think it's dark enough to read and keep his eyes. He did have way darker lenses, but I wanted to see the eyes so you get to actually look at him. So I'm gonna add some accents for the reflection. Alright, today we're gonna learn how to paint the extremely infamous mass murderer Jim Jones. Alright, we just finished the paint. Let's take a closer look. So I like this really dark area here. It's pretty good. It's hard to make out some of the faces though with that, but I could have made the faces probably a little bigger. I thought this is pretty good area. A nice transition through the colors, and the outline looked pretty good. I had less of an issue than I did last time. The color in the hair turned out right off the bat, so that was good. I didn't have to repaint it like my last painting. I think the colors are pretty good on the face. I think my glasses are a little off. I probably should have repainted them a little bit, but I would lose a lot of details if I went over that now at this point, so I'm just going to live with it. The red suit I'm not super sure of. I think it's good because it kind of symbolizes red communism, although probably people more associate with red Republican, funny enough. But I think overall I really like the painting. And so let's switch this way, the light's better. The lighting's terrible in this room right now, I don't know why. But yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. I got basically the image I wanted to. I was a little bit unsure to do this super, because he really has really smoky glasses, but I really wanted to show the eyes, so I kind of changed that a lot from what his glasses really look like. They were like the half smoke glasses. They're pretty cool ass glasses, but you know, it's kind of selfish. You have these really cool glasses looking like Elvis, and then your followers are eating rice and beans every day in the jungle. I mean, kind of obviously a psychopath or sociopath at the least. And yeah, overall, I think the execution went really well. There's, you know, I have a follow-up video of, you know, my personal connection with certain elements of Jim Jones' life. It's like, whoa, there's a lot of parallels. Like, but I didn't become a psychopath cult leader, so. But this guy did. It's just like interesting how you can share a lot of qualities with one person that's horrible, but then you're like, how did they turn out like this? You know, just very interesting. Connections there. Overall, I think it turned out well. The one thing that was disappointing, I found out later when I was finishing the painting, I'm like, oh man, they didn't include one of my papers. I went to Office Max and there was some new guy working there, and he's kind of half-assed in his job and not really taking his time, and he's just rushing through things. And I trusted him that he printed all my papers, and it turned out one of the prints he didn't copy. Like, I had a nice iguana paper that I created with the iguana flag and some other symbolism there, and I didn't make it in the painting. I mean, it's fine, it still works as a painting, but it would have been really nice to get all of the imagery I really wanted in there. So, you know, that's kind of a little bit of a shortfall. But overall, I think the painting turned out pretty well. I'm happy. Hopefully you guys like it. Give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe, you can subscribe below. And I'll see you in the next painting video. Thanks for watching, guys.
Whoa.